What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to bring a message for the chosen. If you find that this resonates with you in any way, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and let us know how it resonates with your circumstance. So, first of all, I want to talk to you all about your past. When you start feeling as if your past is a part of your past life, like literally the things that happen in this lifetime feels like it happened in another lifetime, that's when you know that you have truly made it. You have crossed over from the 3D to the 5D dimension. Largely because there's this energy of feeling as if that past version of yourself was not even you. Like you have this clear understanding, this knowing that the past version of who you were, it could have been 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, it was not who you truly are. And there is this huge separation of energy that happens where you think back on the past and you barely even remember half of the things. You could have had a whole career in a particular field and you barely even remember that version of who you were. My own personal experience, I worked as a registered nurse for 5 years, but I also had my experience as a CNA, patient care technician as well, for 12 years. So I was in healthcare for all of my working career. But now it's been at least 4 years since I've actually worked as a nurse, and I feel so far removed. Just thinking back on those days of being in the healthcare field, I don't feel like, I know it was me that experienced that. I know it was me that put in all of that hard work and labor, but I feel so different that it's like that past version of who I was, it was in my past life. Because that separation, now that I'm in my purpose, doing what I'm passionate about, doing what I was created and formed to do, the energy, the vibrational frequency of this existence, it feels so different that it's like separating oil and water. You can see the difference, you can feel the difference. It's a very clear distinction from one way of being to another. And this is what you all can expect if you haven't already crossed over into the fifth dimensional energy. That's why I would love to hear your comments on this, because you go from a lifetime of wearing this mask or bringing this representative to the table because you really don't know who you are. You know that you're different, but you don't know what that difference means. You don't know what you're supposed to do with that difference. You're around, surrounded by people who are accustomed to you presenting yourself in a particular way. And so, you get comfortable in that energy. Never really quite comfortable, but you end up staying there because you assume that this is what life is supposed to be. This is how I'm supposed to move. These are the types of people I'm supposed to have in my circle. This is what I'm supposed to believe in. This is the way that I'm supposed to generate money, And when you awaken and you truly embrace the true version, the authentic, original, organic version of who you have created to be, it's like you look at your past and you're like, how were we even the same people? It's like you're stepping outside of that old version of yourself. It's like a snake that has shed its skin. That snake can look back at that skin and say, I can't even believe that was a part of me. I can't even believe that I was encased in that. But then you give thanks and you are full of gratitude that you've been able to cross over that threshold, because it does not come easy. Shedding those old layers and crossing in from the 3D to the 5D takes a whole lot of strength and empowerment and internal inspiration, self-love, and fearlessness. You got to be courageous enough and bold enough to shed that skin, and then to present to the world who you truly are, and not try to hide because you're now vulnerable, or because now it's like feeling naked. When you've had so many layers on you for so many years and you come out into the world as your authentic self after shedding all those layers, you feel naked. But it's a freedom that comes with that at the same time, because you don't have to hide anymore. And there's no shame about who you used to be, because you ain't that person anymore. You can literally speak on that person as if they were someone totally different from who you are. But you appreciate that old version of yourself, right? You appreciate the experiences. You appreciate the wisdom that you gained through the lessons that you had to learn, and the karmics that you ended up attracting, and the people that you had to let go of, and the career paths that you had to move away from. And all of these things, you find appreciation for the journey, but you are literally able to look at the old version of yourself. It's like you're up high looking down. You end up having that bird's eye view, that higher perspective. And you're able to see why everything played out the way that it did. It's like watching a big screen, watching a movie, and it's like, man, that was me? That was me? It's an amazing experience. And so when you cross over that threshold, if you're in that energy yourself and you're like, man, life is so different that I just don't even really feel like that was my experience. No, you're not crazy. No, you're not tripping. No, you're not delusional. It is the truth about that separation between the 3D and the 5D energy. And not everybody will be able to experience that. And this is why many people will, tell you that you're fake. They'll tell you that, you're pretending to be something that you're not. Oh, I knew you for 35 years. So how did you go from being like that for 35 years to all of a sudden, here it is now, you 37, 38, and you're totally different. They're just waiting for that old version to come back out. They're just waiting for you to, get back into that layer of skin that you shed. They're just waiting for you to step into that old avatar. But you never will, because you feel so separated from it. You feel so detached from it. You can't go back to being that old version. You can't. Now, can you fake the funk and pretend? Sure, but you would never feel comfortable in it. And so this is why it's so important to just embrace who you are. Once you go through that metamorphosis, embrace the new version of yourself. Because the more that you embrace it, others will have to respect it. Even if they have a hard time accepting it, they will have to respect it, because you're going to demand that they respect it. And if they don't, you'll go ahead and create that very necessary distance. But you become the standard. You become the example. And it gives other people who are wanting to do better, wanting to be better, the motivation to shed those layers and to not feel like you have to maintain a particular facade or a representative just because people are used to seeing you a particular way, or because they're used to you having a particular title or believing in particular things. It's no longer about what other people think. It's about you growing and evolving in this lifetime. And so, yes, everything about who you used to be chosen is now a part of your past life. That's why a lot of times when I'm telling y'all about doing shadow work, because you're always going through transformations and rediscovering something else that can be cleared out. Sometimes you got a little bit of residual energy that you need to shake off. I always tell y'all about, time traveling. When you go back into remembrance of who you were at 8 years old, 10, 15, 23, all of that, that's you time traveling now. Now you time traveling. And you're doing it with intentions. You know how to time travel and go back and clean up the residual energy when you was 8 years old now, because you're separated from who that person was back then. You're separated from it. And so now you are able to access the energy without it having a negative impact on you. So what do I mean by that? Let's just say a tragic situation or a traumatic situation happened when you was 8 years old. But now that you have separated and you've gone from the 3D energy to the 5D, and you've metamorphed, you've turned into this new being, you are now detached from the emotional trauma that took place at 8. So your detachment allows you to go back into that time period of your existence and to clean up without the energy making you dirty all over again, or taking you backwards all over again, or pulling you back in emotionally all over again. You are able to detach from that, and that's when you're able to manifest. That's when you're able to create. Because you got to remember, the mind does not know the difference between a trauma that happened 20 years ago and that situation happening now. If when you think about it, if it creates the same emotions, if it triggers the same anger, bitterness, sadness, insecurities, then you might as well say it's happening right here in the present moment, because the mind doesn't know the difference between that timeline of 20 years ago and what's happening now, because the energy that is being created from that trauma is still the same. So you keep re-injuring yourself over and over again if you have not gone through that metamorphosis. But once you shed that old layer of who you used to be, you are able to time travel back into those moments of trauma, to speak about them openly, to think about them. And it doesn't bring sadness. It doesn't bring pain. It doesn't, make you feel ashamed or guilty. It doesn't bring embarrassment, things like that. Because again, that's the old version of you. That's not who you are. That separation from the 3D to the 5D is amazing. And so I would like to encourage y'all, keep doing the healing work. Keep doing the shadow work. Keep evaluating yourself. Keep shedding layers. Keep getting down. Keep on making sure that you are intentional about getting down to the most authentic version of who you have been created to be, because you will be amazed at how different you are today versus yesterday. And so will everybody else. And your life, everything outside of you, will also begin to change in drastic ways, because now, as within, so without, it has to match the frequency of the new version of you. And so if you was in lack for 40 years of your life, but those 40 years of your life you were asleep, those 40 years of your life you were unhealed, those 40 years of your life you had not done the spiritual work, if of course lack came with that. But then once you cross over into the 5D, because you've gone through that metamorphosis and because you have healed, no more lack will exist in your life, because your life would now have to be a reflection of who you have become. That is a universal law. That's how you know the Most High Mother and Father will make good of what they promise you. And so just consider that great things are coming to you as long as you continue to focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Keep your vibrations high at all cost. I don't care what your situation is. Stay out in nature. Stay connected to Mother Nature. Stay grounded. Keep putting your feet in that grass. I don't care what your living circumstance is. Keep sun gazing. Keep moon gazing. Keep writing things down that don't serve you and burning them. If you are able to, keep lighting your candles and writing on your candles those manifestations that you would like to create within yourself first. Manifest the best version of yourself first. Then start working on the external things to match the frequency of who you are becoming. Keep doing the work. Listen to your affirmations, play your frequencies, use your crystals, give thanks every day, practice gratitude, love on your children, be playful, dance, sing, take your salt baths. Do all of these things, whatever you feel guided to do on a spiritual level, but listen to that internal voice. Talk directly to the Most High and your spiritual team. Don't get caught up in trying to manifest through books and, Google magic and all this foolishness. Don't get caught up in that, because everything, it already exists within you. You have the tools. You have the wisdom. It's already in your Akashic records. All you got to do is come into remembrance of it. And you might say, well, I don't know how to do these things. Yes, you do. You just have to listen. Get quiet enough. Get silent enough. Release all of those thoughts of doubt and powerlessness. You are not, you don't have to just passively exist. As a chosen seed, you have been given the authority to change your life and to help change the lives of others. That is your mission. That's what you was placed here to do. So there's no way you can't possibly say that you're incapable of doing something that you was literally crafted to do. That's just like saying a lawnmower can't cut grass, but it was created to cut grass. So stay in alignment, y'all. That's my message for you. You have officially crossed over into the 5D. Your past is now your past life. So get ready for major changes to happen in your life to be a direct reflection of that. I love you all. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and I'll talk to y'all next time.